Okay, so sourcing strategies. Outline how you're going to get your candidates through referrals, which is one of the most effective ways. Through referrals, social media, job boards, and so on and so forth. Uh, open announcements, radio, media. So it depends on the level of the organization, then that will determine which strategy you have to use. But check the most effective strategy as concern your industry. Recruitment timeline, develop a recruitment timeline. Don't just that I need a tech person that doesn't know how to use C# and just like I need and I need and I need. There should be a timeline you want to close out on that. That will also help you to gear up the recruitment process. Selection criteria. Selection criteria and hiring process should be based on the job description set out, recruitment requirement set out. By the time you put this into place, you find out that you already have your outline parameter for choosing or making your decision. Then budget. Estimate your recruitment budget, which is cost of advertising, cost of recruitment costs, and any other costs that may arise. Administration for recruitment process, interview. Interview guide and develop interview questions to related job. So you don't come and start asking questions that are not related. Most personal questions. Ask questions that goes around cultural fit, competency, requirements. Provide evaluation forms. There should be an evaluation form that have to assess the skills, experience, and suitability. Feedback forms. After the interview, you have feedback forms that you give, that you use in giving whether those that made it and those that didn't make it feedback. Onboarding checklist forms, pre-onboarding administration or documentation. You have the offer letter which you send to the person maybe through mail or physically. Then terms and conditions of the employment, the pre-employment check, background check, reference check, verification of qualification, verification of address, verification of previous workplace, legal administration, prepare employment contracts, confidentiality agreement, or also what they call NDA, non-disclosure agreement, so that your trade secrets will not be shared, and any other legal requirements, legal document as may be required. Then you have your onboarding checklist form, that will show from when the employee started taking his onboarding or her onboarding from the first day at work to the last day of the onboarding. Depend on maybe the department the staff is coming in as or the capacity the employee is coming in as will determine kind of training such person will get. Some will just get only induction and few other, while some have a continuous engagement till they are well seated, especially for top management position. It's usually so, because you have to give them so many policies to read, so many policies to summarize, so on and so forth. IT equipment, what are the gadgets? IT equipment and other work equipment, what are the gadgets they need to work? They need a mouse, the wired mouse they need, or wired mouse. Those little things really matter, because you don't want to give someone who is in business development a wired mouse. So when he goes out for a presentation, he's using wire to fixing wire on his laptop. You want to give a very slicky laptop that looks smooth and nice, or maybe a color, email, creation of email address, and access to company system. All this should be in your checklist, that when it's done, it is ticked, and whoever is doing should sign off on it. And the same thing when the staff is also existing, which we're going to see. Benefit enrollment, assist the new employee in enrolling for benefits such as health insurance, retention, retirement plan, and pension. That's withholding, yeah, that also form withholding tax, direct deposit authorization form for new employees to authorize the of their salaries where applicable. Non-disclosure agreement, NDA, which I mentioned earlier. So the forms that you're providing should have these basic things. their full name, and I do advise to differentiate between surname and other names. So their full names, their contact number, address, tax information, next of kin, educational qualification, and so many other things. Company policy and values that ensure that employee review, acknowledge company's policy on conduct and ethics. So when you've just drafted a policy, ensure that there's an acknowledgement of that. Else, employee can deny that, oh, we never got it, we never saw it, we just dropped it on us. That doesn't make it less effective though, but it is very advisable to cover all ends legally that you ensure that they sign up on the document. All right, so performance expectation, set clear performance expectation and goals for a new employee through their job description and KPI. And when you are doing this, you should be very clear and specific about it and ensure that they are realistic and achievable. Okay. Maintaining candidate record. Applicant tracking system, ATS. Many organizations now use this in managing resume. That's why some organizations that once you just apply, if it doesn't meet the requirement, maybe picking keywords, format, having objects that it's not supposed to have, it's going to bounce it out. It will make the order of the day. It's not going will never be reviewed. Data protection. Ensure compliance with data protection laws when storing and processing candidate information. So confidentiality shouldn't be disclosed. The other day, it's made the news that a particular Unilag, someone posted on Twitter that they saw someone's Unilag certificate. She bought suya, and it was someone Unilag certificate that using wrapping the suya for her, and she posted it online. So I feel the HR organization have proved that kind of thing is not what goes out at all. You can use that as a recyclable within your organization, and when you're exposing, you burn. You don't just go and dump it out. But unfortunately, it can be traced to know where that was submitted. So retention policies, establish policy for retaining candidates' record, including resumes, application, and interview notes. Confidentiality, maintain high confidentiality of all candidates' records. Performance management administration. Performance management documentation. Do you have any contribution or question so far?
Not any for now, sir.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay.
So performance management administration also needs proper documentation. I said at the beginning of the class that even when you want to terminate on performance basis, there are processes you must follow. There are processes you should follow. Else, even when you terminate, it can be classified as false, as a wrongful termination. Goal setting, providing feedback and evaluating employees' performance. So you set goals, provide, evaluate, and provide feedback. Performance appraisal forms should have a clear objectives. Where should this clear objective come from? The job description, and should translate to the KPI or KRA, where you are going to use as a basis to appraise the staff. Competencies, assess employee competence, relevance, and responsibility. Achievement. So looking at how this person, how savvy is he with computer, how quick he is to think, all those kind of things. Then achievement, document employees' achievements, contribution and area of improvement. We as employee done well. What has he brought to the system? What are the contributions he has made? What are things this employee can boast to have achieved? And What are the areas this person needs to improve? Create a development plan to address skill gap and career growth. This could be part of the reasons why some organizations are ahead of other organizations, because they take note of skill gap and try to help their employees fill those gaps. So use that as a strategy to retain employees. The next is performance appraisal form. Performance appraisal form. These standardized forms outline key areas of evaluation. They include job description, job duties, job responsibilities, skills and competencies, goals and achievements, goals, objective achievements, initiative, problem solving, team communication, overall performance, attendance, performance rating. What are the performance systems we can use? Use the management by objective, which is one of the most common ways we whereby objectives are jointly set and agreed upon, to be achieved within a specific objective is agreed to be achieved within a specific period, to get a specific result. So we can use that, we can use the 360-degree feedback system, whereby one person is being rated in multiple dimensions, including subordinate peers, supervisors, and this system most people use it because it reduces bias. Okay, it reduces bias. So let's say in your organization now, your sales, you can praise your sales girl. The subordinates will appraise her or give feedback, not like appraise her per se. So it doesn't look like she's answerable to the younger person. The sales boy, the subordinates will also do the same thing. Like that. Then self-appraisal. For me, I find a way to have all this in one. So you have someone appraising him herself, other people appraising, and other people ahead of you also rating the person. Rating scale, use rating scale to evaluate performance based on predefined criteria. So there should be rating scale for that. That will reduce the element of bias. Continuous feedback. Please give feedback to people. So it doesn't even have to be during performance appraisal. You can make it monthly, that you give monthly feedback to your staff, to your colleagues. Give them guidelines and coaching throughout the period of appraisal, but I advocate should be done often. Performance metrics. Select performance measure and key performance indicators to measure and track progress. They should have a measurable number and figure attached to it. Okay, measurable number and figure attached to it. Choosing the right performance appraisal depends on the organizational size, industry, and specific needs. Choosing the right performance appraisal system depends on the organizational size, industry, and need. Documenting performance reviews. Gather your feedback from various sources, including self-assessment and peer-to-peer. Review performance data, analyze it, use your what they call this Excel to analyze your data. So number of junior staff was approved, so number of staff was approved, 20% junior staff, 70% senior staff, 10% are contract staff. This is the outcome. 2% scored 30. So all these figures will guide the decision making. Set agenda, prepare a structured agenda for performance review meeting, including discussion achievement and challenges. Provide feedback, goal setting, developmental opportunities, especially aside for those that just need one or two gaps to be filled, for those that didn't do well, that have that need PIP, you can put them in performance improvement plan. And putting them in performance improvement plan will also mean that putting them in performance appraisal improvement plan will also mean that you have a structured training let's say a structured training mapped out for these people. Keep them for maybe 3 months, which is a standard. Okay. So that's for now. Identifying performance issues, performance gap, behavioral issues. It's also a time talking about behavioral. It's also a time for you to address certain behavioral issues that may arise or that you've noticed. You know, let's say a very high performing staff will have attitude problem. This is where to address it. This is where to see how we can organize behavioral training or coaching or personal mentoring. Okay. People who don't get along with other people in the office. You need to identify all that and give them feedback on that and how they can do better. Skill gap. Oh, so person don't have Excel skill, PowerPoint skill, communication skill. You also try to address that. So talk about PIP, performance improvement plan, where those that scored particular amounts we put in what's that? We'll score below a particular score, we put in performance improvement plan. And I said the time is usually within 3 months to 6 months. Within that period, giving the person maximum support he or she needs, monitoring the progress. And after that, you appraise those set of people and move them out of performance improvement plan, or either you want to extend it or you want to send them out of the organization as your policy states or as it pleases the company based on guiding principles. Some performance appraisal issues, you can also give written warnings, performance. This is where a staff is lacking on certain issues. You give warnings, give other disciplinary actions. Performance improvements, discuss this meeting notes, keep detailed notes from meetings causing as performance issues proceeds. Remember, administration should be used constructively to improve performance and not solely for punitive measures. Sometimes we only see performance appraisal exercise as corrective measure, but we should also use it as a preventive measure. That's why we don't have to wait for a performance cycle before we actually do performance. You can be doing some pre-performance exercises like we just call for a chit chat, conversation, informal conversation, and see how we can improve the system even before the performance period. Keep communication open, allow people to able to express themselves, able to give feedback, no matter how bitter it is about the organization. Especially for small organizations, they feel very bad when they hear feedback of this. But I'm trying my best. But yes, you're trying your best, but the staff still want better than your best. So even when you cannot do certain things, engage them, reason why this cannot happen now, why it might be in the future, stuff like that. Training and development record. Training is very important and development because it can be used to correct behavioral issues in organization. It can be used to correct behavioral issues. It can also help people escape, organization escape from litigation issues, like I mentioned. Because even when you are talking about PIP, you are going to subject some of them to certain trainings. It can also be a tool used for retention. Retention, we've seen whereby organization where they will say that, okay, we're giving you 5% of your annual gross for your training every year, or you went for training every year. So that what is your amount? You can go abroad for training. So while in doing this, it's important that we maintain training records. Training records. It shows you because it shows the employee that want to improve. It shows the employee that have been participating in the organization. It shows you growth pattern and possibilities of employees. Recording training and development activities. Capturing details of training and development activities is the first step in effective record. Here are what's the document. Employee information, the name, department, and job title. Training program, the title of the program, dates. So you have a training form, duration, method of delivery. So have a training form for this. Content, a brief description of the topic covered in the training. The trainer information, the name, qualification of the trainer who delivered the program. Budget cost, record the cost of it, as well with the training program for budgeting purpose. In some cases, we go as far as even wrestling against the employee. We fight by number of participants to know how much one cost each employee is costing us. To help in cost of employee to the company. Method of recording training activity, LMS, which is learning management system. Many organizations use the LMS to electronically track training activities, registration and completion record. The likes of CBN at the moment does that, where they use trying to take, they don't do manual attendance any longer. I don't know if it's across all levels, but I know that they want an e-system attendance. Training attendance sheets, in-person, peer-to-peer, paper-based attendance can be used to capture employee participation or use Google Sheets. Employee self-report, employee can be responsible for maintaining a record of their training with the HR or verification. Okay. Certification and qualifications. Maintain records of certification and qualification obtained by employee through the training program. So if your employee have gone out to get an MBA, ICANN, NBA, okay, I mentioned that, customer service, supply chain, and so on and so forth. Please document it. Okay. After the training this person participated in. Expiring date, track expiring date of certificates and qualifications to ensure timely renewal and retraining, so I can be updated with new industry training. Tracking employees' learning and development, pre and post training assessment, evaluate knowledge before the training by providing questionnaire and gauge after the training. Performance review, assess if the training resulted in improvement on the job. So after some period, you need to evaluate and see that, reassess and see if this training is having impact on the job. Positive. You can even have negative. There was a training on we did on employee overtime calculation, and after employee knew how to play the overtime, we noticed that people stopped coming to work. What happened? They saw that they are making more money in overtime, so they stopped coming to normal work and come for overtime, make almost the money of almost the money make what their salary. So that now had a negative impact. So that is, of course, was rendered training. So look at the impact on the behavior or on the job. It might not be directly on the job, it might be on their behavior. Administer feedback through survey system, skill demonstration, evaluate if the employee can apply the skill. Okay. Also look at if the employee can transfer the knowledge that he or she has planned. Individual development plan, set specific and measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound goals for employee. This can be achieved through coaching and mentoring. Okay, mentor progress towards developmental growth. And if you're able to do this especially through training, you will see that when it's time for succession planning, you will not have problem knowing who to fit in where. So this is a two-in-one thing. It's helping for your training. But as well as helping for productivity and for talent management. Skill metrics. Skill inventory. Create a skill inventory to identify existing skills and competency within the organization. Skill gap analysis. Identify gap between current skill and desires to inform the training and development plan. I see sometimes people just in organization, they've not done training for a long time. They then just do one training. They're going to do training. So, but no, it's not supposed to be so. It is done in a manner that a training wants to address a particular issue, and after that training, it is expected that that issue is well addressed. Okay, so key performance indicators. Training metrics. Track training metrics such as training hours by employee and cost per session. Okay, you have to know how much it's cost an employee is costing us and even the entire training is costing us. Learning outcome. Measure the learning outcome of every training. These are performance and productivity. It could be direct or indirect. Return on investment, cost benefits of the training. Is this training worth it? Is this saving us cost? Is it introducing a better process? Is it introducing a better process? Is it reducing bottleneck? Okay, what is that one thing this training is selling to us? What is that one value this training has given us? Just one value this training. Maybe this training trying to make us improve on how to attend to customers. And how do you measure that? By reduce complaint from customers. This training is meant to ensure that we don't keep customers computers for a long time. How do you measure that? That we are tracking to see that computers that don't spend more than, before we used to do 3 months, 90 days, right? And now computers do just 30 days in our office. Our project used to take us 110 days to execute, but today it takes us 60 days to execute. So if your turnaround time is increased, we can sure say that revenue might also increase, right? And also profits vis-a-vis profits. So continuous improvement. Use feedback from training evaluations and performance review to improve training, other training programs. Interactive approach. Continue review and revise training programs to ensure relevance and effectiveness. Reporting. Training completion rate. Percentage of employees who completed assigned training. Also look at that because it's also important to know that their compliance to such training improvement data, metrics demonstrating improvement in the job, which we said this back. Okay. Always remember, effective recording, tracking, and reporting of training and development activities are essential for supporting employees' growth and organizational success. By maintaining accurate records, tracking employees' progress, and evaluating training effective institutions can ensure that their training programs are aligned with business goals and contribute to employees' development. Let's take a quick 5 minute recess and come back at exactly 12:35. Thank you. And I'll be expecting that when I come back, you have your questions waiting.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right, welcome back to the last segment of our class for this session. We are currently on HR operations and documentation, having the class for the past 2 hours here, 2 hours, 35 minutes. All right, so welcome back, Mr. Emmanuel, and the entire class. So the last module, which is compensation and benefits administration. Remember, we're talking about compensation and benefit administration documentation, not the application properly. We are more concerned in this about documentation. Accurate and effective documentation is essential for managing an organization's compensation and benefits effectively. This model exposes the key documents and processes involved in payroll, benefit administration, and maintaining compliance with regulatory bodies. Payroll records. Top on the ladder on payroll is what? Salary, of course. Salary or wage, as the case may be. So, salary records include base pay, bonuses, incentive, whatever constitutes your gross. So basic housing, transport, all that. Okay. Then you also have deductions. What are the things they deduct? You have tax, insurance, contributions, loans, and so on and so forth. And have overtime, we track the extra hours that was worked by the employees and what pay the commensurate compensation. And direct deposit authorization form. We authorize electronic deposit of their salaries into their bank accounts. Have payroll reports, regular reports, rising payroll data, including total gross wages deduction. So the company can see where they are spending so much on data, on payroll processing. Establish a regular payroll schedule, including pay period and pay dates. So we start from the pay cycle. Some organizations does from 16 to 15. Some does from 21st to 20th. Some does from 1st to 30th, the last day of the month. But most organizations that does in between the month, trying to ensure that they do that so that before the end of the month, 20th, 21st, or 25th, they paid salaries. Okay. Then your salary date should be consistent. Not today you pay 28th of this month. Next one you pay 9th of the other month. Next one you pay 1st of this month. It should be consistent. Okay. Payment method. Determine how employee will be paid, such as direct deposits or checks. Are you going to be giving them checks every month? Or you transfer. In the era of today that will have an electronic transfer, you just do bulk payment and send to everybody. Withholding tax. Ensure compliance with tax holding requirements where it is withholding tax or where it is payee. This should be stated clearly. Benefits administration. Document details of benefits plan, including health insurance, retirement, and other benefits should be offered. And other benefits offered should be clear. Then enrollment form. Provide employee with enrollment form for instruction. So where you want the employee to get their pension, to get this, you have to provide those forms for them to fill and ensure they fill correctly. Ensure that what they fill, it does not, it's not contrary to what you have on your payment document. For instance, we've seen this instances where an employee filled his name. We gave offer letter based on his name. Then when he was filling for the account details to be paid in, he was filling his brother's name. So tomorrow that same employer can wake up. If tomorrow you can just be like, I work for a salary for 3 months and they've never paid me a dime. Okay, so we have to also be careful of this, even up to their signature, ensure that their signature is consistent. Communicate costs and employer contribution for benefit plan. Welcome, Mr. Damilola. Benefit administration. Open enrollment. Conduct annual open enrollment period for employees to review and update their benefit selection. Okay, this might not necessarily mean their salaries, but benefits, not their compensation. So if someone is doing a particular HMO, want to upgrade to a bigger HMO, come down to a lower one, you should have that window. Updates. Process change to benefits plans, such as adding or removing dependents or requested by him. So if a staff want to change his or her dependent for any reason, okay, he or she had someone that is below 18 that was, now this person is 19 years and he don't want to cater or she don't want to cater for this person again, that should be made available. Change of address. I'm talking about benefits, right? Okay, so we're talking about benefits. So change of or this person is into let's say this person bought bond, federal government bond, for instance. When you buy bond, this your tax will have to drop. So this person is submitting bond certificates. All those are what will put take cognizance into communication. Provide employee with information about their benefits, including their coverage and change to plan. Just yesterday, my wife went to the hospital for treatment, and when she got the answer, oh, madam, you're entitled to this following this change that you made in your HMO. So you see, because of the change she made in the HMO, she had more packages to choose from. Okay, so ensuring compliance with compensation regulation, legal compliance, Fair Labor Standard Act, ensure compliance with the Fair Labor Standard Regulation, minimum wage, overtime, record keeping. Ensure as well with so many other acts that we have. We have the Child Labor Act, we have the Compensation Act, we have the Pension Act, we have the CAMA 2022, we have the Company Allied and Matters Others. That's what it means for those that might be asking. Company Allied Matters Act, yes, CAMA. So we have the Trade Union Act, we have the Factory Act, we have the Mining Act, and so many other acts. We have the Safety Act, and so on and so forth. So there are so many. You have to ensure compliance in line with compensation. Those that are related to compensation, you have to ensure full compliance. Then record keeping, retention, maintain record for compensation and benefits in accordance with legal retention. For extra benefits you might be giving to staff, please document this in their file and protect employee compensation. Remember, I told you at the beginning of the class that what people's compensation is highly confidential, even though in some sectors it is very open. You can easily say so people are earning worth, so people are earning that. But it shouldn't be from the from the staff itself or too open. As much as possible, it's on the company to protect the record, the earnings of all our employees. Audit and review. Do a regular audit on your compensation using both external and internal dynamics. Ensuring that everybody who are in the same level are placed on the same salary. Okay, are getting the same benefits in line with your policy and procedure. Also look at, if you're using the external dynamics, you look at industry benchmark. Then internal review compensation practices and policies intended to identify and address potential needs. Note, effective administration and administration of compensation, effective administration and documentation of compensation and benefits are essential for ensuring employee satisfaction and compliance with legal requirements. I can remember a staff telling me that Now, one thing I like about our company is that we remit our pension and when due. Latest 15th or max 20th of the month, you receive your pension alert. By 5th, we're already filing for our pension. We've sent out the money. 5th of the next month, we've sent out the money. So most people start receiving from 15th for the pension and just finish everything that they are doing. By 15th, they start receiving their money. So by maintaining accurate record is a way that you can use as a retention strategy or employee to gauge employee satisfaction. So we have a class activity here, which you will take now. You can screenshot this and present it when we meet in the second session. So just do that, everyone. Present a real-world scenario, anonymized, where a lack of proper administration caused issue for an organization, e.g. legal dispute over an employer contract term. Analyze the situation, identify the administration gaps, recommend specific documents that could have prevented the issue, discuss how HR professionals might handle the situation with better administration. So please take this down. We're going to discuss it in our next class. In conclusion, in this presentation, we explore the importance of HR operations and documentation. We discussed the various types of HR documentation, the importance of accurate documentation, and how to establish a system of managing documentation throughout the employee life cycle. We also covered essential consideration for global HR operations and best practices for developing and communicating HR policies. Finally, we dealt on specific HR needs from recruitment to compensation and benefits, which covers and even exit management, which covers the employee circle in an organization. By effectively managing HR administration, organization can ensure compliant, effective, and fair work environment. Thank you so much, and I'll take in your questions where there is any. So our next class will be by 2 if there are no questions. Our next class will just be for 1 hour, 30 minutes. We hope to finish it, discuss about compensation and benefits. Very important because that is the cocoa why staff stays in most cases. Because some of us think compensation and benefits has to do with just salary and overtime. It's far above that. Far above that. All right. In the absence of any question, we'll call this session a close. I don't know if anybody in the house have anything to say. If none,